Shout out to the chess club.
I'm vibing.
Shout out to the chess club. We're aiming for a controversial 7 out of 10.
That's most definitely what's up.
Something's wrong with the game.
I'm vibing.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. How are we doing? Everybody feeling lively, feeling good. Dare I say, bonita? Do you or do you not feel bonita? I feel bonita. Hello everyone. Hi. Good to see you. We got people on YouTube, people in chat on Twitch. We're rocking and rolling today. Let me get your chats up on screen so people in the post show and in the clips can see your lovely and I'm sure extremely intelligent comments. I'm not suggesting anything. You're fine. Let's see. Paste that. Voila. There we go. Okay. Hi, everyone. Let's go, Chess Club. You're damn right.
Shout out to the chess club.
Shout outs to the Chess Club. Today's going to be fun. We have a handful of things to go through. We have, I think we're going to look at Light No Fire because that's starting to get kind of hyped. And we all know what hype does, okay? So we're gonna instill a little skepticism into this. So trust and believe. Building Lego, I think we probably could start. You guys voted last stream for us to start on the Hogwarts Express, so I think it's only right. We also have our resident shaft from last stream, so that's still here. Don't worry about it. It is really cool. It's been on the whole time. Like, I've not moved it, I've not turned it off. It's still just running. It's just an always on live moving poster. Like, it's pretty cool. I'm kind of about it, honestly. I'm kind of about it. Lego Todd Howard. Oh, that's an expansion they're bringing. We'll get it eventually. Don't worry. Okay. Did you pre-order that Dune helicopter Lego? I did not. Should I have? I didn't. Russell, thank you for the super chat. Kind of weird to ask since you're video games only, but ever thought of giving opinions on movies or some series too? Yeah, I've dabbled with it with like The Last of Us TV show for season 1. I did like a sort of breakdown. The only real limitation is just the copyright stuff is crazy complicated to get around. I don't know how those YouTubers that just do movie reviews do it, but if you show more than like a second of a TV show, they will strike it. They just will. So it's just a headache. Like, it's just a headache. And then they strike it and they might just take half the revenue. Okay, not a big deal. Or they might come along and just make it so it can't be viewed in the United States, the UK, Germany, Russia, like every country where I have viewers. And so it's like, okay, so nobody can see it. So like, what's the point? So it's just a different hurdle to get over. And it's not one I've figured out how to get over. What we did for the Last of Us show, kind of review, breakdown, whatever you want to call it, was I just pulled up like still shots. And then when I was talking about a scene, I pulled up a still shot of the scene. And then I might show a few still shots. And that's fine. They don't have a problem with that. It's when you play the actual video through, then they throw a fit. So, yeah. They don't show anything from the show. They just talk about it. Yeah. I think that's why it's very different for me. Just because I'm used to, like, if I talk about something, I want to show that something, but you can't really do that. Man, after the show came out, they went and striked everyone's Let's Play on the game, mine included. Yeah, I was really worried they were going to do that for Hogwarts Legacy because it had all this Harry Potter music. I was worried that everything we put up for that game would be struck. But they somehow managed to specifically create different variations and versions of the music for the game's soundtrack that did not get struck, which was awesome. I mean, that's what you would hope for, right? System. There we go. Also, shout out to WMDNC for subbing with Prime 10 minutes ago. Appreciate you, my friend. And Check a Deal. Thank you for subbing with Prime over on Twitch as well. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. But, yeah. Oh, user failed your driving test, failed down. That's okay. I almost failed mine. I think he should have failed me on mine, because I think he said I had 3 violations and 3 is the limit. But the one, like, I think he used it as like a scare tactic, because he's like, you know, you had 3 violations. Like, I merged too quickly. I think, like, I turned right and it was on a road. There's no way I can explain. I'm gonna use MS Paint. Shocker, right? It was like one of these roads where, let's go, thick lines. So the road's like this, and then we have like the little lines in the middle of the road, right? But this was one of those like dotted yellow lines, and then it merges in and goes to 1 lane, right? So what I was doing is like, we're driving this way, and then he says, take a right, and I turned right here, because it's also a violation if you go straight over a lane. You're not allowed to do that. So I went over here, and then I moved into this lane pretty quickly, but that was a violation apparently. I'm supposed to go all the way down and then merge on. So that counted as a violation. I was upset about it, but you know, he could have been a total jerk about it and been like, nope, you failed, come back later. Yeah, drunk driver. But no, it ended up being okay. But I was like, you set that up on purpose. That's why you had me turn there, is because it's like impossible to do correctly. That's what it is. Oh, this is funny. Somebody put the No Man's Sky and Light No Fire trailers side by side. That's funny. We'll look at that. Okay. I've watched a streamer play some of the finals. I've been off competitive FPS for nearly a decade, but it interests me a lot. It's good fun. It's good fun. I haven't messed around with it. I wanted to over the weekend, but I just didn't have time. But it seems good. Jarno, me just now finding out I can also watch on Twitch. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. You think, Raxon, you think that battle royales are coming to an end? Really? I don't know. I mean, I guess it's kind of hard to be like, well, Fortnite's doing well, because Fortnite is like so much bigger than just in like a battle royale now. That's where I think most of their players are, but it's so ridiculously huge now. There's so many different things available. It's crazy. God of War DLC coming out tomorrow. You playing? Yeah, I think I'll try it. I'm not usually big into roguelikes, but they say that there's story elements and components to it. So if that's the case, I'll try it. I'd like to. And also for early in the chat, hey Luke, I really like your channel, man. You got some good takes. I don't agree with everything, but that's the beauty about it. At least you're not a salty bitch like Reforged Gaming. Sorry, that's fine. I'm not sure what specifically that's referring to, but I will say, like, we did a reaction to Reforged Gaming at one point, and I think it was a video that was particularly, well, I guess I can probably look it up. Maybe we didn't actually publish the whole clip. I think it was on stream. Yeah, it must have been. I don't know, because I'm not seeing it. But as I recall, it was a video that was like particularly heavy in the fanboy, like Sony ponyisms. And it was just bad faith and uninteresting. So I didn't have a lot to say about it, but I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. But like the day that I tweeted out and posted that my son Orion went to the hospital, he like sent me a DM on Twitter, and like I was like, why today of all days are you doing this? But he sent me a DM and was like, I'm really frustrated by how it was portrayed, and I was disappointed in you for that and all that. And I was like, bro, I have bigger things to worry about right now than that you didn't like my opinion of your video. Like, can we not right now? It was really, really weird. Like, of all the days you could have done it, it was just odd. You know? Jarno, thank you. I appreciate that. True family man, you're damn right. Luckily, I'm wearing a 16 times the detail shirt that fits fantastically well, is comfortable, and looks fantastic as well. Thankfully. If I didn't have that, I'd be in trouble. But yes, thankfully, we're good. Were those jerks that swatted you brought to justice? At this point, I don't think so yet. When I tried to talk to a member of the local sheriff's office about it, they were very coy and were just like, what they said specifically was like, we don't have any details we can share with you at this time, or something like that. It was basically like, we don't have anything we can tell you, but they implied, and it sounded like they were making progress, but they just couldn't tell me about it. So I'm hopeful that they're working on it and that they're making some positive steps forward. So we'll see. We'll see. Can you tell me the keyboard you're using? Oh yeah, this is a Keychron. I think it was a Q6 maybe. Yeah, it's this one. Keychron Q6 mechanical keyboard, and I used it with Gateron Pro Reds. But this is the exact keyboard. I like it. It's very good. It's very good. It's like 6 pounds, so it's made out of like a chunk of metal, so it's very, very sturdy. But that's what you want, right? You're not breaking this thing. You're not breaking this thing. I forgot to do that. Let me a full-size keyboard. Yeah, I used to use the little one. I kind of like having the numpad, I'm gonna be honest. What was your most interesting thing revealed at the Game Awards? For me, probably Monster Hunter Wilds. That's one I'm really interested in. As for other stuff, like there were some interesting announcements and reveals, but nothing like, oh my god, that's crazy. The release date trailer for Black Myth Wukong was awesome. So I guess we can touch on this. Jacob, new segment. Okay. So one of the cool things we saw at the Game Awards was the release date trailer for Black Myth Wukong. And if you don't know Black Myth Wukong, this is that game that's been around for years. And everybody, when we first saw it, thought it was way too good to be true. Everybody was like, that looks really, really good. How is this running? How is this working? I'm trying to see if I can find the like original trailer, like the announcement trailer. I'm not seeing it. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe this. I mean, yeah, I'll just show you this. So like, this is what you might have seen before, and it was footage that didn't look bad. In fact, it looked graphically very, very good, but there was just something about it where we didn't hear any details about gameplay. It's from a pretty unknown studio. It's based on Journey to the West's mythology and everything. So it seemed interesting enough, but we just didn't know anything about it. It's like, yeah, it looks gorgeous, but we've seen before, gorgeous games can often end up being based on like fraud, or it's like all of this was scripted heavily. We just saw this with the day before, where they show very heavily scripted gameplay sequences, and then we get the game itself and none of that's in the game. So whenever there's an unknown quantity in the form of the development company or the publisher, I think it's worth being very skeptical and being like, okay, it looks great. What you're showing here looks amazing. If this is in the game, I'm very excited, but we just don't know if you're actually going to be able to deliver this. And time has gone by, years and years, but we actually got a reveal of a release date trailer, and it actually looks just as good, if not better, than what we had before. And they're giving it a release date. We get more looks at gameplay, different environments, and like some of the stuff they're doing here is just crazy.
Then why is there always suffering? And why do the bad folks always win?
Because goodness without teeth punishes not. It only foments evil. Cleanse the world with blood and grow lotuses in it. That is your destiny.
I, the keeper of the New West, welcome the Destined One.
The destined one who doesn't even know what he's destined for.
Doesn't it look sick?
Those old rascals, they surely know how to name.
Is my kind destined for extermination?
You're driven by glory, not destiny.
So this is the face of the Destined One. It will fit me just as well.
Bathed in blood, yet preaching peace. Oh, you immortals, pray enlighten me. What justifies your superiority? Oh, sweet destiny.
Right? August 20th. August 20th. So I'm about it. I think it looks really, really good. As we've said before, though, it's from an unknown quantity as far as I understand it. So it's being developed by Game Science. Game Science developer. Maybe is this it? Game Science. I don't know what else they've ever worked on. Have they worked on other stuff before? Where's Game Science's main website? Okay, here it is. So they've made this. They made Red Tides. Okay. 100 Heroes. They have done mobile game stuff, but it doesn't look like anything else. So this is like their first foray into big AAA development for console and PC games. And it looks very, very good, of course, but we just don't know. You just don't know till you get your hands on it because this is new for them. So it might be that this is their first foray and it ends up being like amazingly impressive. And it's like, okay, they just casually waltzed up and are one of the industry's leading devs. That's crazy. Maybe. Or maybe it ends up being pretty good or a great foundation and there's some other weird clunk to it. Who knows? We'll see. One thing I've been curious with, though, is that all of these like Chinese and Japanese developers that have gotten tons of money from like Tencent, I've been curious how they continue to kind of make their way into the AAA space in the console realm as well.
Is now a red flag.
Thank you.
I haven't seen your reaction to TGA, so what do you think of Skull and Bones trailer and release date? Do they look promising?
I have a video because they just an hour ago released a Skull and Bones gameplay deep dive on GameSpot. So I'll go through all of that again here in just a few minutes when we touch on all of this. But all told, like, I'm interested. I don't think it looks bad from what we've seen. I don't think it's the game people were hoping for, but I think there's going to be a lot of people that still enjoy it. I don't think it'll be like an overwhelming success, but I think some people will really enjoy it. So fingers crossed. I guess we'll find out. But what was the other one? Crimson Desert. That's the other one. So one of the other developers that's kind of come out of nowhere were the devs of Crimson Desert, who you might have heard, or you might have heard about this, because this game also looks crazy, crazy good. But in some ways, it looks too good to be true because there's just so many little mechanics. Like there's all this fantastic systems with like riding horses. The open world seems really, really robust. There's like paragliding, hunting. So there's Witcher 3 elements, Red Dead 2 elements mixed in here. There's Monster Hunter elements. Like this game seems to just be wild in terms of scope. But it's coming from a dev that we don't really know how they'll handle this, because their other game is, of course, Black Desert Online, which many people have talked about how horrifically monetized it is. It is super toxic. But my question is, maybe, like, why couldn't some of these developers release these hyper monetized games that make tons of money, like Black Desert Online or like Game Science's other mobile games, and then use those funds to also step into the AAA space in the single player realm, and then have fantastically huge scope games there that aren't trying to like 10x their investment, but rather are just hoping to make a return, get their name out there in the public eye more, give them, you know, maybe some acclaim, some awards and stuff like that, and do both. So you have the mobile games that make tons of money, but then you also use some of that money that you make to make really good single player games.
Charlie Masters
I think that could work.
£4.99
You know?
through Super Chat. Do you think games such as yearly EA Sports releases or COD that prioritize money-grabbing techniques over game quality will ever stop selling well?
I mean, I personally don't think they'll stop selling well. I don't think there's going to be a time when like football fans or soccer fans are like, you know what, I've had enough of this. I think they would have had enough of it years and years ago. And the other big problem for them, and I've mentioned this before, it's why 2K tried to put commercials into their matches and stuff. Sports fans are acclimated and already conditioned for heavy advertising. So, and monetization.
Kyle
So they're used to it.
$5 through
you know?
Super Chat. I was wondering if you seen Doke V gameplay trailer. Looks very promising.
Doke V gameplay trailer. I don't think so. I'll pull it. Oh, wait, no, we have seen this. This is the other thing they're doing. Yeah, I have seen that. Remember, guys, we looked at this maybe a couple months ago. The art style makes me uncomfortable. I'm just going to be honest, because like it's a bunch of characters. I can't tell if they're supposed to be 6 years old or if they're supposed to be 25, but they're just cutesy. Like I have no idea what I'm looking at here. So I don't know, but it certainly has potential. I know there's a lot of people that would be interested in this kind of game. So who knows? Who knows? But this is another project that they're working on. And so I just don't know if all of these are going to be monetized out the ass, just like Black Desert Online has been, or if maybe these are more pro-consumer and then, you know, Black Desert Online is their outlet for the hyper monetization. Who knows? Who knows? Some people will be like, nope, absolutely not. It's not going to work because they're just greedy and they're going to shove tons of microtransactions into Crimson Desert, tons of microtransactions into Black Myth Wukong. Maybe. We just don't know yet. I think it's worth being skeptical because all of the other stuff they've done is heavily monetized like that, but that doesn't mean necessarily that this is going to end up being terrible or over monetized. It could be that they have a bunch of very talented devs that are making these games that are heavily monetized, and those devs want a creative outlet that they can be more proud of and where they can get some acclaim. And like, this is the other thing. I know a lot of people are like, oh, these corporations are just purely greedy. Sometimes, yes, that is the case. Other times, it's a mixture of the greed and then also, like, even the world's most greedy people like being loved. They like being respected. They like being appreciated. So I wouldn't put it past them if they want to spend some of that money and maybe make a little bit less on the return on the investment, but rather get some acclaim, get some recognition in the broader gaming journalism space, and be appreciated and respected as developers. And the other big piece for that is that when you have acclaim, when you have respect within the industry, your odds of attracting quality talent go up significantly. Just ask yourself, if you're getting into game development, where do you want to work? You want to work at Naughty Dog. You want to work at Sony Santa Monica. You want to work at Insomniac. You want to work at Rockstar. Those are the places you want to work because they have this acclaim, because they have this reputation. They've won all these awards. You want to work for the best of the best. And that would mean that you're the best of the best. Nobody is like getting out of their art school or game development program and then going and seeking out like some knockoff mobile game developer to make gotcha games and like bejeweled knockoffs. Nobody wants to do that. They want to work for really well established and awarded studios. And so if that studio can attract that talent by being well awarded and things, that can help them create better games that will in turn do better, perform better, make more money. And so it's a big cycle. It's not as simple as just shove tons of microtransactions in and we'll call it good. There's many different things to consider. So Naughty Dog, not a chance. That's the thing. Everybody I've spoken to that works at Naughty Dog or has worked at Naughty Dog is like, it's great because you know the thing you're working on is probably going to get nominated for Game of the Year. And that's a very weird thing to say in the industry, like to just know that this thing is going to be beloved by everybody, but, or at the very least respected by everybody. But the downside is that there is a company culture at Naughty Dog, and this has been well reported. I'm not just making this up. Like Jason Schreier's talked about this. Employees have come forward and talked about it very openly. But there is a company culture where everybody's on the same team. Everybody's fighting for the same results. And if you want the best results, you need to pour extra time and effort into the project. And that might mean working late. And it's kind of, it reminds me of when I worked in real estate. We technically only had to stay till like 5 or 6. But if you were on a team of 6 people and 5 of them are staying late, do you really want to be the only person that leaves? Like, probably not. Probably not. Because then you leave and then you're the outcast and then they look at you negatively. And then next time that they're going out to company lunch, they don't invite you. And then slowly but surely you get kind of separated off. And then before you know it, they just end up firing you because you're not jiving with the team. So at Naughty Dog, there is a company culture where you're not mandated to work late or overtime or anything. There's no company rule saying you have to stay till 9 p.m. or sleep at the studio. There's nothing like that on the books, but a lot of people feel the pressure to overwork themselves because if they don't, the game won't get finished, their team might be left behind, and there's a lot of other concerns with it. Okay. So, yeah, Naughty Dog gets the respect, but it is not for everybody. Like if you have a family, working at Naughty Dog is apparently not a very good time. So all of this to say though, Black Myth Wukong, I think looks really, really promising. It has an announcement or it has a release date announced. We'll be watching it. We'll be checking it out. My fingers are crossed that it lives up to what they're able to show, but we'll just see. Because there's been a lot of games. I think Atomic Heart was another one that showed very well in trailers, but then you ended up seeing it and it was like, oh, okay. Like it's not bad, but like in Atomic Heart, there were all of these crazy outdoor set pieces and then these big boss fights. And it turned out those were the only big set pieces and only boss fights in the entire game. And after you see that, the rest of the game takes place in like underground science labs and is really boring. So there's just a bunch of times we've seen where a game can look really good in trailers and stuff, but that doesn't mean that it's going to actually convert to a quality game. And this might be an instance of that, but it might also be like amazing. We just don't know. We just don't know. So, end of segment, Jacob. End of segment. Fantastic just shut down after the day before launch. They posted it to Twitter. Hold on. Hold on. No way, really? Fantastic. Okay, I guess Jacob. New segment. Okay. So apparently, Slime Jr. just sent in chat. Fantastic just shut down. They posted it to Twitter. These are the developers behind The Day Before, which is, I mean, we made a video of it on the main channel. It was like one of the most hilariously terrible games this year. And I just pulled it up. Official statement from Fantastic HQ. Today, we announced the closure of Fantastic Studio. That's real. Unfortunately, the day before has failed financially, and we lack the funds to continue. All income received is being used to pay off debts to our partners. We invested all our efforts, resources, and man hours into the development of the day before, which was our first huge game. We really wanted to release new patches to reveal the full potential of the game, but unfortunately we don't have the funding to continue work. It's important to note that we didn't take any money from the public during the development of the day before. There were no pre-orders or crowdfunding campaigns. We worked tirelessly for 5 years, pouring our blood, sweat, and tears into the game. At the moment, the future of the day before and prop night is unknown, but the servers will remain operational. We apologize if we didn't meet your expectations. We did everything within our power, but unfortunately, we miscalculated our capabilities. Creating games is an incredibly challenging endeavor. We're grateful to everyone who supported us during these difficult years. It's been a fantastic journey over the last 8 years. 2015, opening. 2017, release of The Wild 8. 2018, release of Dead Dozen. 2018, Radiant 1 released. 2021 release of Prop Night, and 2023 release of the day before, and now they're shutting down. Ooh baby, ooh baby. Now what's weird to me about this right off the bat is just that they've spoken very openly that they didn't have like developers, they had volunteers. So the development was apparently free, except for like legal costs and stuff and maybe infrastructure and stuff like that. Allegedly, it was free, according to their statements. They didn't pay for labor. So I'm wondering where these debts are from. Like, where's that from? Some people might look at this and be like, "Oh, this is clearly a money laundering scheme." That must have been what it is. Like maybe they were funneling money into this and then they're gonna just shut it down. It's almost like if you've ever seen The Producers, you remember that movie / musical where the whole premise of the film, or musical, I guess, is that if they raise enough money and the project ends up being a flop, they shut it down and then they pocket the difference. And so they basically can scam the investors in the project because, yeah, it's terrible. And they actually make more money with the game being terrible than if it's successful. Maybe that's what was going on here. But then again, I don't think that they had any big, like, investors or anything. Maybe this was the publisher that they had decided to shut it down or something. I don't know. It's just weird. The other thing is, and I think this is important to just clarify, my understanding, and if anybody works at Steam or can correct this if I'm wrong, please let me know. But my understanding is that when you buy something on Steam for $60 and then you choose to return it, or I guess in this case we should do 40 because it was $40. So if you buy something for $40 on Steam and then you play it for an hour and you decide to return it, what will happen is Steam will take its cut. I think on Steam it's 30%. Okay. And then there's like processing fees. There's other stuff that might get like included in that. But let's just say like, I don't know, $13 or something comes out of this. So the actual like pocketed amount for the devs is 27. Okay. Let's say that's how much money they actually made on the copy after everything's kind of cut out. Then at that point, they have this money. But if you choose to refund the game, again, this is my understanding. It could be mistaken, but after speaking to people, this is my understanding. Steam retains their cut. So if you were to return it for a refund, the $13 lost is still going over to Steam. So they still are keeping however much money they took off of it. And the player still needs to be refunded $40. So that $13 difference comes out of the devs or publisher's pocket. So that's my understanding with previous scammed launches or launches that are super, super broken, is that you can have an instance where developers and publishers lose a lot of money very, very quickly because everybody's refunding it. They might have changed that policy because in the case of like mass refunds, this could lead to a situation where the publisher goes bankrupt because they lose just tons and tons and tons of money. but it's also why like there's problems with like indie devs that release broken stuff unlisting their games from Steam because they don't want those refunds to hit. And even if we say that they don't refund the full 13, so when you get paid back your 40, oh my God, when you get your $40 back, that 13 had to come from the devs, and then 27 comes back from the money that you basically paid in. It just swoops over. But Steam is still taking their 13 that they got before. That 13 is a loss, but even if we say that Steam refunded part of it, Steam I don't think would ever refund their full fee, because Steam's costs are the same. They still allowed you to publish on their platform. They still marketed the game on their storefront. They still distributed it using their server infrastructure, all of that stuff. They managed and brokered the return process, and they had their staff manage it. So Steam did their part and then some. Through the whole thing, they didn't do anything wrong. I wouldn't think that Steam would return their cut because it's their cut. Like, they did everything they were supposed to do. It's not their fault that people didn't like the game and wanted to return it. So I don't know. Again, just to be very clear, I don't know for 1,000% fact that this is still how this works. My understanding is in the past that's how it worked, but that's why potentially you could have a game that's like this, that's not what people were thinking, and a lot of people are buying it, trying it, and then returning it. And then you have the announcement of a closure because they can't keep up with those $13 refund hits. Because you think about it, if they sold 100,000 copies and then 95,000 of them are getting refunded at $13 a pop, and even if they refund some of their fee, Steam returns like some of it, but maybe they keep 5% or whatever it is, that's still tens of thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars being charged to a company that allegedly didn't even have development costs and wasn't that financially stable to begin with. So they probably just can't take that hit. So I don't know. This is crazy. I mean, I don't think anybody really feels that bad for them. It's very clear that they not just overpromised, but they straight up said a lot of stuff that was just frankly not true. There were many things they posted on their Twitter pages that they ended up scrubbing. On their YouTube and TikTok pages, they scrubbed a lot of it because they, it wasn't in the game. They described this and pitched it as an MMO, and it's just not an MMO. Like, there's no question. There were all these weird things where, like, they were saying that they lost the rights to their name, and it's because they didn't get, like, legal stuff established. It's just really, really strange, the whole thing. And then they had this weird obsession with cars and driving cars. And then in the game, like, they show all these screenshots of tons of zombies walking around, and there's not anywhere near this level of density in the game. Like, I ran around for 35 minutes and I saw one infected zombie. And when you shot him, it was so delayed that you'd shoot him and a solid second or two later, the bullet would have an impact and deal damage, basically. It was just bad. And, you know, you look at this and you're like, well, they built out this whole city. There's clearly a lot of effort put into it. But that's not the case. This was all done with like $300 city block packages of assets off of the Unreal Engine store. Like, they didn't actually build hardly anything in this game. They just used off-the-shelf stuff and then tried to pitch it and sell it as a full game. It almost comes off as like a high schooler's project that got out of control and out of hand. And then he's like, yeah, I'll be a real developer. I'll be a real game publisher. Yeah, we'll put out the game. And it just got away from them. It was really, really, really weird. But again, I just don't think anybody really feels bad for them. And I mean, after this, it's amazing that, I mean, it's just it's fantastic, fantastical that they release it on the 7th, and on the 11th, just 4 days later, because today's the 11th, right? Yeah, I'm not crazy. They're shutting down the studio. It's wild. Again, I don't think anybody's really surprised, but again, how did they get away with copying the Last of Us font? It's not illegal to use similar fonts. It's also not exactly the same. It has like the grunge on the bottom, whereas the Last of Us's font has the grunge and like deterioration all the way through. So it's not the exact same font. And it's also like, it's not illegal to use the same font. Like, we all know what they were doing. We all know, like, yeah, this is clearly trying to evoke the Last of Us vibes, which is why, I mean, this is probably like one of those free fonts that's like that. You know how some fonts that are clearly made to look like the Last of Us font or the Fortnite font, they won't say exactly that. They'll be like, oh, this is the Of Us Last font. And then this other one, it's not a Fortnite font. It's the 2 week font or whatever it is, you know, like they'll do something like that. But clearly that's what they were going for. You know, they can get away with it because, well, I mean, maybe you could say that they didn't get away with it because they're shutting down. The whole thing is collapsing. So I don't know. This was just so weird. See what I mean? Like, what is this? What is this? It just doesn't make any sense. Like, were they trying to, did they have a vision where they were going to sell players these cars for like $10 a pop and that was going to be their microtransactions to make tons of money? Is that what they were going for? I don't know. It's just weird. What do we need in our zombie post-apocalyptic game? Lambos. You know, like, what are we doing? I don't know. Have you seen Donkey's video on the day before? Even he had nothing to say on this game. That really shocked me. I have not seen it, but yeah, well, it's like I said in my video, it commits the greatest offense. Like the greatest offense that you could possibly make. And that's just being boring. Like, of anything, that's the worst thing a game can be. It's just flat out boring. And that's what it is. Like, yeah, it's technically a real game. Yes. Technically you can launch it. You can run around in it. You can hop into a server. I think somebody told me that the servers are only like 32 players large or something, like for local servers. I don't know. But the whole thing is just bizarre. But it doesn't matter. All of that doesn't matter because the game, there's just not anything there. There's no gameplay loop. There's nothing fun about it. It's just an open area for you to run around, basically. So, rip fantastic. Rip fantastic. What are you going to do? Man. Yeah, my question though with all this is if they are shutting down now, it depends on how they do it, but if they shut down, they might just be trying to like run with whatever money they have before they have to issue refunds. So maybe that's what they're doing.
Virgil donated $5 through Super Chat.
I don't know.
Luke, you gotta check out this game called Project M. It looks too good to be true.
Project M. That sounds familiar. This already scares me. It isn't a mod or a game. It's a community. What the hell does that mean? It's a community-driven patch for Project M, a game modification for Super Smash Bros. Brawl. How is that legal? That's Project Plus. Oh, yeah. According to the team's attorney and business consultant, the decision was not made as a result of a cease and desist notice or legal action by Nintendo. One member of the dev team stated that the mod's cancellation was to prevent further legal issues. Yeah, I mean, if it's like a mod to anything Nintendo related, it's going to get shut down. They don't mess with it. It's super toxic, but yeah, they shut down. That's crazy. Let's see. Radically Virgil. It's on YouTube on IGN's channel. Project M IGN. Project M IGN. This thing from 2 weeks ago. Interactive adventure game. They just picked a name that's the same as like a discontinued mod. I mean, graphically it looks really good. Gameplay wise, it looks clunky as hell. Like, especially when he's shooting at this guy, there's no like bullet impact, there's no blood effect, there's nothing. It doesn't even like affect clothing or move clothing at all. It's just, it just kind of flops. It's like an air blast. So, like graphically, yeah, if you take a freeze frame and you look at it, yeah, it looks really good. But when I see it in motion, it looks like all flash, no substance, you know? So that worries me. But perhaps one to keep an eye on, yeah. The thing with Unreal Engine 5 and a lot of these other tool sets that are becoming more widespread and accessible is just that you're going to get a flood of games that graphically look really good, but at their core, there's just not much of a game there, you know? That's what worries me. Because there's going to be many people that buy into some of these pitches for different games that look graphically really impressive, but just aren't quite there. Okay, let's pull this up real quick. I do want to talk about this. People were asking about the Game Awards, so I feel like we should just address this. And yes, Judson, I have a few things pulled up. We're going to talk about Light No Fire, so don't you worry. We're going to get to that. We're going to look at all of this stuff. You guys remember this? You guys remember this? We're going to talk about that. So don't stress it. We're going to get there. But I do want to first just start on this one. I'm going to post this in chat real quick for all of you guys. Voila. Also, shout out Jarno. Thank you for subbing, by the way. I don't remember if I shouted that out. I don't recall. I am sorry if I did not, but thank you for subbing. Appreciate you. Shotgun to the face doesn't do anything. Yeah, for real. Okay. Hold this up. Ooh, groovy. Groovy music. Okay. Here we go. Let's just touch on this. This is a video by Dolan Darker. The Game Awards 2023 in a nutshell. Now, I have said for a long time that I appreciate Jeff Keighley. I think he's done a lot of good stuff for the industry, even though I like to meme on him, like to joke about him. You know, we have that emote in the chat if you're a sub or a member for the Dorito Pope. Praise be to the Dorito Pope. So we like to joke about him and meme on him, but he's done a lot of good for the industry. And I want to be upfront with that. He does make mistakes. He does things I think are cringy or stupid, but he has done a lot of good stuff for the industry. He's made it more mainstream. He's allowed it to get this huge platform with all of these award shows. And then also he basically has stepped up, and his team has single-handedly allowed for E3 in many ways to continue with Summer Game Fest. So even though E3's managers screwed it up so royally, they basically had to shut it down. He and his team have created an alternative that, while not quite as fun, I would argue, because E3 was crazy when it was running, it still is a good substitute. I think it's better than nothing. So with that out of the way up front, I also have a lot of problems with Jeff Keighley. One of my biggest problems, and I've said this for years, and you guys that have been around for years know for a fact that this is true because I've gotten hate for it. I think Jeff Keighley is a remarkably self-centered individual. And I'm saying this as a YouTuber who would know, okay? Like, egomaniacs know egomaniacs, okay? So, like, what I mean by that is that he's not really concerned with what makes the best award show. He's more concerned with what allows him to get around celebrities and to be on stage and meet and shake hands with rich and famous people. And I mean, proof positive is just that he's objectively terrible at presenting. He just is. He has horrible stage presence, if any. He has terrible eye contact tics. So one of the things you'll see with Jeff all the time, and once I tell you, you'll never unsee it, is that he constantly breaks eye contact and stares at the floor. Constantly. We always joke that, like, he's dropped his charisma. Oh no, your stage presence, Jeff, where did it go? He's always dropped it. It's always on the floor somewhere. He does it constantly. And it's a tic. But, like, I notice these things because when I took, like, theater classes and when I was in plays and musicals or even in, like, a communications class taking lessons on how to be a better presenter, we would get docked for doing that. If I presented the way that Jeff Keighley presented in that class, I would have gotten a C or a D. Like, I would have been in trouble because he's just not very good at it. And for him, you know, when he started the Game Awards, I think there was an excuse because it's like, hey, it's his thing. He's just trying to run it and doing it himself. Okay. Now it is so mainstream. There is no reason he could not have a Troy Baker, a Nolan North, or any of these guys go up there and host the awards. Somebody with amazing stage presence, charisma, that could just get up there, run the show. And Jeff, maybe he presents the Game of the Year award since he runs the whole thing instead of Wish.com, Willy Wonka. Maybe we do that. But, like, I think if he's concerned with what makes the best show, he should not be the one front and center the whole time. The other thing I really struggle with justifying with Jeff Keighley is his obsession with getting validation from Hollywood. He is obsessed with it. Whether it's getting Hollywood celebrities like The Rock or Vin Diesel to come on and talk about some horrible Need for Speed video game for 10 minutes during the Game Awards like 2020 or 2021, or if it's some other thing where he's like just obsessed with having random celebrities present awards, even though they have nothing to do with the gaming industry at all. It's really, really strange. But again, it's all because he comes from TV. He comes from that industry. And I think he's very insecure about being kind of a big wig in the gaming industry, when the gaming industry doesn't need to suck up to the movie industry or the TV industry. They need to suck up to, like, the gamers. Gaming is a huge industry. Like, how big? Okay, we're gonna Google it. How big is the gaming industry? What are the raw numbers? Okay, in 2022, the revenue from the worldwide gaming market was estimated at almost $347 billion, with the mobile gaming market generating an estimated $248 billion of the total, which, for one, it's a little upsetting that mobile games are that much, but what are you going to do? Microtransactions for the win, baby. Either way, this is a approaching $400 billion a year market and industry. Why are we sucking up to Al Pacino, to Disney executives? What are we doing? What are we doing? You don't need to do that. So that's one of my biggest frustrations, and it has been for a very, very long time. And I mean, for years we've been joking that the Game Awards is just like the ad awards. It's just a series of commercials that happen to have some awards tossed in. And you can see this almost instantaneously when you turn it on, because during the pre-show, they reveal a bunch of the little awards that nobody really cares about, like Best Esports Coach. They just kind of don't talk about it. And then once the awards actually start, it's commercial, trailer, commercial. And then Jeff gets up and is like, and real quick, let's award the best multiplayer game. Nominees are blah, 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 blah. And the winner is blah, blah, blah. Congratulations. Now let's talk about the nominees for the best racing game. The nominees are, and he runs through like 3 or 4 awards and then finishes it, moves on, ad, trailer, trailer, ad. And then there's like 15 minutes of Hideo Kojima rambling about something that nobody gets after showing what is, in my humble opinion, one of the worst trailers for anything, TV, film, video games alike. That trailer for OD was horrible, okay? He does that, and then they let him stand up there and ramble for 10 minutes just because he and Jeff Keighley are probably backstage giving each other foot rubs in between presentations. I don't get it. I don't understand it, but it shows, again, Jeff isn't concerned with what makes the best show. It's what helps him and his friends and his weird bromance with Kojima thrive and flourish. So before I get even more lightheaded rambling, let's just see this little video from Dolan Darker on the Game Awards 2023 in a nutshell.
Christopher Judge! Not gonna stand up here making long speeches. I'm gonna stick to the script. No 8-minute speech like last year. Whoever wins, Jeff has given me the okay to say, take as long as you want to.
It is funny that he wasn't there. And also, he pissed off so many Call of Duty developers. I don't know why it was so scandalous that he just joked that his speech was longer than the campaign. Like, all of a sudden, the Call of Duty devs are like, how dare he? That's so wrong. I'm like, bro, he's kind of like, it was funny. It was funny. And it's real. Like, the COD campaign was horrible. I don't know how you justify it.
I am so honored to share this latest update with you on his upcoming project. Here we go.
Yeah, the worst trailer I've ever seen. This would have been better. Skibbity.
Well, we can't wait to learn more about what you're working on. Oh, wait.
Yeah, this was so cringe.
Is there somebody else at the door?
Like, they went to all this trouble. They did this whole, like, high production value thing, adding the door, all this stuff, the smoke machines. They added smoke machines for Hideo and for Jordan to come out onto stage. And the thing that really pissed people off about this was that there are pictures of these, where is it? Do they have a screenshot in this? I don't think so. Let me just pull this up real quick. Please wrap it up. Let's see if I can find it. Please hold. Yeah. So this went like viral a few times over. There were a lot of tweets about this, but Aonuma was giving like an acceptance speech, and they had a counter and then a huge "please wrap it up" sign on a huge display as the teleprompter for all of these people and presenters and award acceptees to see, to be like, okay, shut up. And then they start playing the music and they play them off stage. And it's all because Christopher Judge last year went for like 8 minutes and they needed to hurry him along and get him off. But the thing that really pissed people off about this, yeah, it's disrespectful, I think, to award Game of the Year to Larian. And then Larian gets up there and they're like, and we want to dedicate this to the people no longer with us. Their lead, was it narrative or technical designer, like passed away just less than a year ago. And so they're like thanking and honoring this developer on stage. And they have this flashing and the music starting to play. But meanwhile, Kojima is allowed to go up there and just verbally masturbate in front of everybody. And Jeff is up there helping him out. And everybody's just supposed to be okay with it because it's Hideo Kojima. Sorry, not sorry. Gonna say it like it is. Kojima, He's not Jesus, okay? He's not Jesus. He's not. If Jesus were on stage, Jeff would have been flashing, please wrap it up, dude. Wrap it up. Finish it. We've got Kojima scheduled for 10 minutes. Like, let's relax. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But again, it shows the priority differential. Okay, that would have been really funny if they had done that. Lots of Fortnite ads. They got that epic money.
Thank you very much, guys. Great announcement. All right, awesome.
I don't care what anyone says. I love his trench coat. Okay, I don't care what anyone says. Some people, I saw people on Twitter kind of making fun of him for it because he finishes this interview with like a kick move. I love this jacket. I'm kind of jelly of it. I'm just saying.
Thanks, Nick. Much, guys. Great announcement. All right, awesome. Thanks, Nick.
Oh, I didn't hear what he said. Okay.
Adaptation.
Those guys over there only got one nomination.
Oh, there they are. Oh!
Jonathan Nolan, Mr. Howard.
And the Game Award.
I hate when they try to be funny. It's just not. It's just like, stop. Please stop. The one that was most annoying was the maybe they'll show it, but the one that was really, really annoying was that guy. He's in the Marvel movies. I don't even remember what superhero he plays. Do they have the clip of it? You guys know it? No, they don't have it. You know what I'm talking about? The guy that got up there and kept being like, no, quiet, you shut up. Falcon, that's it. It was Anthony Mackie, yeah. It was so freaking uncomfortable. They needed to play him off, but guess who didn't get played off? Because he's a celebrity, because he's a movie star. That guy. And Jeff tried to deflect and be like, yeah, we needed to adjust the timers, and I think some people were rushed off stage too early. Somebody else tweeted and said that they were in the control booth and sent a picture from the control booth at the Game Awards. They were in there, and they're like, yeah, and I was watching them. They had manual control over that please wrap it up sign and the countdown timer. If they wanted to give somebody more time, they could have. They chose not to, okay? They chose not to. There's no question, okay?
Award goes to Baldur's Gate 3. And the Game Award goes to Baldur's Gate 3.
If this was like actually a priority, it would be on the stage and they'd let devs come out and talk and say thank you and then move on. Like, this is supposed to be a night honoring devs, but that's not what it is. It's a night for advertising and for Jeff to meet celebrities and get a big payday. That's what it is.
Baldur's Gate 3.
And the Game Award goes to Lord of the Rings Gollum.
Big thanks to HBO and the support they've given us, and a lot of big thanks to.
I didn't hear any of this when we watched it. I mean, I've said this in our last video on The Last of Us. I'm sorry, Neil. I loved the long hair way more. I just did. I'm sorry to have to go there, but I just did. You guys remember what he looked like? Neil Druckmann. Dude, he looked so good with the long hair. He looked so good with it. Like, look at that guy. Staring into my soul. Oh, and then he had this, like, Nazarene look for a while. Like, come on. This guy can kill Joel every single day of the week, and I'm not going to be mad about it. Look at that. But then he cut his hair, and it's just not, it's not the same. I'm sorry. It's just not the same. Now he just looks like a guy. It's just, he looks like a guy, you know? Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Looks like Jack Dorsey. Oh, actually a little bit. But like, you know what I mean? Creative genius. Creative genius. A guy. Voice of a generation. Visionary. Brilliant, brilliant designer. The guy that makes me my smoothies at Starbucks. You know, like, it's just not the same. It's not the same. Someone had to say it. Grow it out, bro. Grow it out. It looked so good. I'm just telling you. It looked so good.
HBO and the support they've given us, and a lot of big thanks to.
Okay, yeah, this was fun. I know some people, I think it was Angry Joe said that he thought this was really cringe. Oh my god, why can't I find it? I know some people thought this was really cringe. If you played Alan Wake 2, I think this was something you were praying would happen during the show, and it happened, and it was really cool. It was really fun. Yeah, I'm really glad that they did this. It was just fun, you know. It was just fun. It wasn't trying to be like super intense or super emotional or anything. It was just fun, and that's what like a Game Awards show I think you'd hope would be. But flute guy. Dude, this guy, no joke, plays something insane like 200 instruments or something. Like he makes his own instruments. He's crazy. He went viral, was it last year or the year before, for just being so passionate and so into the music as he's playing it. So he went like viral, and now he's like a mainstay character of the show. They put him on the corner so everybody can see him. Even though I think the other like horns and stuff are back here, or woodwinds are back there, he's always up front because they're like, it's flute guy. You have to have the flute guy. You gotta, you know, you have to. It's great. It's great. Let's see. Sex Killjoy, thank you for the $2. Appreciate you. Tyler, $20. Thank you, my friend. Always enjoy the streams and content. Thanks for what you do, brother. Oh, thank you. And I'm glad you enjoy it. I appreciate you. I'm very generous. And yeah, Matthew, $2. Fantastic. Just shut down. They made the day before. Yeah, we talked about that. That's crazy. That is crazy. I'm still kind of shook. I'm just saying. I'm a little shook about it. Little shook. His hair has its own microphone. It's just, I mean, come on, it's Flute Guy. And like, I don't know what this is called, but he's rocking it.
And the game of the year.
And then Discount Willy Wonka for some reason. I still am not sure why he was there. They were like joking because he had a YouTube channel when he was in his teens, before he was like big, crazy famous, where he like modded Xbox controllers. And I think that was the joke. But again, let's just be honest. The only reason he's presenting this is because he's a celebrity. That's it. Like that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. Where's the Orthodox rabbi? He was apparently there. I don't know if it was like confirmed or if he was joking. What's his name? Mattel or Matek or something? What's his name? I don't remember his name. Also to promote Wonka, yeah. What's his name? Mateo. Game Awards. Where is he? Mateo, what's his last name? What is he on Twitter? I can't find him. Matan, not Mateo. Okay. Matan even. That's it. So he tweeted out this. The Game Awards. He was there. Now, I didn't know this. Apparently, you can just go to the Game Awards. When I was in Los Angeles for that Avatar event, I met with some other creators, and one of them is a TikToker by the name of he goes by Redberry. You might have seen his stuff, you might know him, but very, very, very sweet guy. And he was saying that he was actually planning on flying out to Los Angeles for the Game Awards. I don't know if he actually went. I haven't checked in with him since, but since the Game Awards. But he said that, yeah, he was just going to go try to get in line early and then go to the Game Awards. And apparently there's whole sections of the audience where it's just first come, first serve. You just come in, show up, and then you're good. And you can watch the show, which is kind of cool. So he showed up apparently to the event, tweeted this out like early on before the show started. You can also see this year they did a good job of not really showing it with the cameras, but they had like velvet ropes or whatever you call those, like the dividers between the front row and the stage, and they had security. all the way around the stage to make sure people couldn't storm the stage. Because apparently there were also threats that there would be protesters coming because they were upset that Jeff wasn't going to have a segment on like the Palestinian Gaza conflict. And Jeff didn't want to put that in the gaming show. So there were threats that they would storm the stage and do stuff. And so they just put up tons of security as a result. But once he tweeted this out, they apparently were like, nope. So he tweeted this out at 7:52 p.m. And then just a little while longer, 8:25 p.m. just 30 minutes later, they had not only pulled him out, they had also filled in all of this stuff. They had trespassed him officially, lifetime notice. He's gone. Yeah, it's kind of amazing. Like, he tweeted that out. Somebody was watching his Twitter to see if he was at the show or would come in, and then they went in and kicked him out, which is just, it's kind of funny. But Jeff probably was like, okay, you guys need to watch him, make sure he doesn't get in. And then he gets in, he tweets that out. And so then they go and they find him, pull him out of the seat, and then kick him out, which is pretty funny. It's pretty funny.
Meowgro donated £5 through Super Chat. The day before studio just announced that they are shutting down as the game flopped.
Yeah.
Must have been hit with mass refunds.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's crazy. Let me close that. Yeah, no, it's crazy. They're just walking away from it. But anyway, Timothy.
Here is Baldur's Gate 3.
He did it.
Michael Baya donated $5 through Super Chat. We need to convince CD Projekt Red not to move on from Cyberpunk 2077. They can turn the game into one of the greatest all time if they stick with it.
I mean, I think they did already. And now they're moving on to the sequel. The thing for them right now is that the longer they stick with Cyberpunk, the longer they have devs that are not using their new tool sets under Unreal Engine, and they don't want to get held back anymore with that. So they need to just transition to the new stuff sooner rather than later, and that seems to be what they're doing. And then also, I mean, they already stuck with it 3 years longer than I think most of us thought they would. So it's crazy the turnaround they've already done with Cyberpunk. So I'm already very kind of happy and pleased with how much work they've put into it and how good it's gotten. And at this point, I don't really know what else they could do other than like another expansion. But like the thing is, it's not a live service game. They could spend 2-3 years making another expansion. I personally would rather just get Witcher 4 and then get Cyberpunk 2078 or whatever it is. You know, that's what I would rather. Personally, I know for some people, Cyberpunk is where they're at and they're not really interested in The Witcher. But I'll tell you what, I'm ready for Witcher 4. Through and through. Okay. But yeah, I mean, Spider-Man was nominated for 7 awards, didn't take home a single one. That pissed off plenty of Sony fans for real. Yeah, it's just frankly a weird show. It was a really weird show. And I'm glad to see that people kind of unanimously stood up and were like, hey, this is like not what it should be. The Game Awards should celebrate devs. It shouldn't celebrate Hollywood. That doesn't make sense. And with Jeff like giving the wrap it up sign to devs that are like thanking their deceased coworkers and stuff, and then meanwhile also giving Kojima 10 minutes to talk about, again, one of, if not the worst trailer I've ever seen in my life. Like, and also the interest in it is like non-existent. 75,000 views after 3 days. And this is a Kojima trailer that he spent 10 minutes allowing them to talk about and hype up. And apparently nobody cares. It's crazy. Like, what am I supposed to take away from this? What am I supposed to look at this and think? Then he's like, and it's not a video game, but it's also not a movie. It's a new form of entertainment. Bear in mind, Kojima also said that Death Stranding was a brand new genre of gaming because it was like a UPS simulator. This poor guy, they didn't let him trim his nose hairs beforehand. They did him dirty. Like, yeah, it looks graphically cool. They need to chill out on the depth of field a little bit. It's like so aggressive. You can't even tell what's going on. I get it. You have an f1.2 lens at 35 mil. Chill out. But it's the same thing with Kojima. Like, Kojima's also obsessed with getting Hollywood celebrities to be in his stuff and rubbing shoulders with celebrities. But like, again, I don't know what any of this is supposed to mean. I don't know what I'm supposed to take away from this. It's just like a hilariously terrible trailer. So it just left a bad taste in everybody's mouth because we're all like, you say one thing, you're doing the opposite. Yeah, it's to celebrate devs. Meanwhile, Kojima can come up here and talk for 10 minutes about nothing. That's fine. And then I'm going to rush everybody else off the stage. And then we're going to just invite a bunch of celebrities to come and very awkwardly talk about crap. Like, it's just stupid. The whole thing's just stupid. I like the idea of devs coming up and the Oscars to talk 6 minutes about games. Oh, like, oh, I see what you mean. Like, imagine at the Oscars inviting game devs up to talk about their games for 10 minutes when nobody cares. Yeah, it would be like at the Oscars inviting Epic to come up and then ramble about Fortnite for 10 minutes in between the Oscars acceptance speeches that are limited at like 10 seconds. Yeah, that would be that's basically what it is. You're right. It's just, I hope that they learn from this. Jeff in the past has taken feedback and grown with it and improved stuff. Some years he got criticism for too many mobile game ads, so they toned that down. Other years he's gotten criticism for like too many musical segments where he had like random bands that nobody had heard about that did like 5-minute songs that nobody cared about. And when you're watching it live and doing like co-streams and reactions to it, you can't allow it to play, otherwise you'll get copyright struck. So everybody that's reacting to the stream or that's doing a co-watching party or something ends up just muting the music. So you just have like 6-7 minutes that are just muted. It's just really stupid. So he's learned from that. We'll see if he takes this lesson, because this lesson goes to the core of Jeff Keighley, and that is just that he loves the whining and dining, the shaking hands and rubbing elbows with the finest and the Hollywood elites. And so for people to now say, hey, stop doing that, we don't like it, that's going to be tough for him to shake, I think, because it's who he is. He loves it. He just loves it, man. So I don't know if he'll actually do it. I would guess next year's Game Awards is probably very similar. They probably don't do the please wrap it up because they don't want the meme, but they probably still have like 30 seconds. That's what I think. I don't blame him though. Who wouldn't want to meet like celebrities and stuff? I mean, I don't really care about celebrities. Like, I don't talk about it on stream for one, because like, who cares? But like, I've had celebrities DM me on Twitter and Instagram, like famous musicians and actors that are just like, hey man, watch your stuff. Love it. Keep up the good work. Just fun little stuff like that, which is really fun. But like, who cares? Who cares? I'm like, cool. Appreciate it, dude. I like your stuff too. Liked you in that movie, this movie, whatever. But who cares? And like, the other thing with Jeff is like, if he meets a famous person, you better believe you're going to see a picture. You're going to see this. You're going to see that. You're going to hear him talk about it. Every time he's talking about a game, he goes up and is like mentioning the game. And then he's like, yeah, and I got to play this a year ago and it's really good. Tell us about it. Who cares, Jeff? Who cares what you say? Nobody does. It's just stupid. Like, It's just dumb. Like this weird fetishism around celebrities is dumb. I'm not a celebrity at all. I have a YouTube channel or a couple YouTube channels that do pretty well, but I'm just a freaking dude. If you see me on the street, come say hi. You know, come say hi. If you want a picture for some reason, ask for a picture. Who cares? Who cares? Like I'm just a dude. I'm just a dude. Come say hi. Okay. Same with celebrities. They're not different than anybody.